Welcome back to The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. Our final confrontation with Colonel Richard awaits, but first, let's show the preparations that I've done. So, other than obviously Estelle and Joshua, I'm bringing Olivier and Chloe to this battle. For plot reasons, I think these two are the people who most deserve to be here, but they're also the two most optimal gameplay-wise, being the two best arts users in the game, with two of the best possible augment setups. In terms of equipment, make sure all the girls have Valkyrie dresses and all the boys have Royal Guards and Atlas gears and the girls have Sylvan boots. That's why a party composition of 2 male, 2 female is ideal, because you get just enough ultimate armor and boots for that. In terms of accessories, the problem is that you actually can't cover every single status that we'll be seeing in these next 3. Yes, it's a series of 3 fights coming up. So, the first fight has a lot of attacks that can inflict feint, so having feather brooches is not bad, but the last phase has enemies with Shadow Spear, so having the skull pendant is also useful. Now, I actually have the Grail Locket on Olivier because he's one of my Earth Wall users, so I really don't want him to get affected by any kind of status. He's also one of my better damage dealers too. Actually, Chloe's my best damage dealer. I also have a proxy puppet, mostly because when you have the Grail Locket, you don't really need much else, so may as well have that. That's only going to work once, so I hope to conserve that for as long as I can. And you have the Skull Pendants to prevent Shadow Spear, Death, and Glam Choker so that you'll always be able to heal and cast. And before you ask why I don't have a CP boosting item on her, well, I'll explain that when we get to the actual final fight. So in terms of the outright augment setup, so Estelle, I want to keep information on her. If I was doing this totally optimally, I would not have information here, but just for the sake of showing the full enemy descriptions, I'm going to have to do this. But I've managed to squeeze Earthguard, Earthwall, and Clock Up EX, and even White Gahana onto her arts palette. So, yeah, that's pretty much as good as I can get on her. Basically, I want at least 2 Earth Wall users because Earth Wall is absolutely vital in this fight. For Joshua, really I am just going with the Clock Up EX and White Gahana, and that's all he really needs set up. But I also have Attack 3 on his single line, and that's because Joshua's main role in this fight, and that's also why I've given him the Gladiator belt, is to spam Black Fang. Because we're going to need a screen-clearing attack in the 3rd phase. Trust me, that's going to be very, very useful. Olivier, on the other hand, he has a very similar setup to what I did with him as we're exploring the 4th floor. So I've got Earthguard and Earthwall, Clock Up EX, as well as Titanic Roar, which might come in handy for the 3rd phase, and White Gahana. Earthland is enough for single target damage. As for Chloe, she's a little bit restrictive in what she can use. It's very hard to get Earthguard and Earthwall onto her, but I've got Clock Up EX as well as Blue Impact and White Gahana, so that's really all she needs. She's actually going to be the more offensive mage of this fight, with Olivier more on support, and she's got higher ATS to boot. But also I've given her the EP Cut 3 I made because she has less EP than Olivier. In terms of tactics, let's go battle position. It doesn't really matter where we are, as long as we all bunch up together. Now, the first fight in this set of 3 is one that being bunched up is a really, really, really bad idea for. However, for the final fight, you definitely want to be bunched up, so yeah, you don't get an opportunity to switch your formation in between the 3 fights. So, I'm going to have to sacrifice a bit of performance on fight 1 for a much better position for fight 3. And with that, yep, that is all we really need to do. We're all at full CP. Let's do this. I absolutely love that shot of everyone running forward into this room to face Richard while this music plays. Just one of my favorite moments in this whole game. And so it's motive rant time. True, he has no idea what this thing will actually do. And here we have something that I find very interesting. So, I made jokes about Cassius Bright basically being the Chuck Norris of this universe, and him almost being considered an in-universe God mode Sue. But here's the thing. Colonel Richard's entire plot is just based on him putting Cassius on a pedestal so much. He genuinely believes that LeBeau is defenseless now that Cassius has left the army. And that led him to his extreme actions. He felt he had to take such drastic measures to protect the country against their enemies, because he put so much faith in Cassius being a one-man army. He genuinely believed that without Cassius, they were defenseless. It's just an interesting deconstruction of just what happens when someone who is that powerful retires. Now, this speech is also interesting from a translation standpoint. So in Japanese, the word miracle is kiseki, which is pronounced exactly the same as the word for trail. So, the title of this series can also be read as Miracle in the Sky. And yeah, here's Estelle giving that response. As powerful as he is, it wasn't just him that stopped the war. And the fact that Richard can't realize that, that's what drove him to do all this. The other thing that I have to say to Richard is, his motives, I can understand. He doesn't want another war, he doesn't want the country to be invaded again, but my response to that is, if you really cared about your country, you would not be staging a coup that would put civilians in danger. You would not be manipulating the Sky Bandits like that. They could have killed those hostages. If you really love LeBeau so much, you would not be putting its citizens in danger. That's a very Estelle thing to say. Richard's motivation of protecting LeBeau from foreign threats is another reason why I feel Olivier kind of has to be here to see this fight. And of course, it's yet another I have come too far to fail now. Which means we're gonna have to stop him by force. Yeah, even she didn't know exactly what was here, only that there was probably something down here. Yeah, there's no way the Intelligence Division built that just in the span of occupying the castle. That always bugged me too. Yeah, it was definitely not Richard who produced that. So there's clearly someone else involved in all this. We still haven't solved the mystery of why people were losing their memory. Remember when I said that we've been dealing with the Intelligence Division for so long, and we haven't been targeted for that? I didn't just mean that the Intelligence Division was leaving us alone. What I was trying to imply is that the Intelligence Division were not behind the memory loss. And yes, Richard's path is entirely of his own choosing. He believes that he needs this ancient superweapon to protect LeBeau. However, he does not remember how or why he came to know about this place or the Black Ordnance. But we have no time to consider the implications of that just yet. It's time to settle this. And here Silver Will does make a lot more sense. So we have Colonel Richard himself having almost 14,000 HP and having a lot of powerful sword skills on his side. And guess what? He's accompanied by Photon Judges! So, yeah. These things are exactly the same as the Photon Judges from earlier in the dungeon, except they can, except I believe they have more HP, and I think they have one additional attack they can use too, but they can still cancel your arts. So they are the biggest threat of this fight. You want to eliminate them as fast as possible. Do I have any strength buffing food, now that I think about it? I only have one more of those left. Guess I can use one of them on you. I just don't want to have him casting, because if I do, then I'm going to lose that, a chance to have him swipe the critical turn. Speaking of which, let's go. Basically, you want to take out the Photon Judges as quickly as possible. Richard himself, once you get him on his own, is not that bad. The Photon Judges must be the first to go, because your spellcasting ability is totally crippled while they're still on the field. And in fact, let's go ahead and just use Howling Bullet. How nice of you to stand in that position, Colonel Richard, because that ensures that both of your Photon Judges get caught in the blast. Yeah, Olivier's S-Craft is not that great at all. But oh well. Can't do that. I can comfort him, though. So, Comfort does work on Richard, and it does reduce his threat value quite a bit. And here's Donkey Missile again. So, I would normally spread out for this fight, but again, the later phases are ones that you don't want to be spread out for. This is definitely not going to kill, though. May as well show full animation, seeing as this is like the final confrontation. Came very close, though. One Photon Judge is almost down. Yep, they do have a new trick, Atomic Missile. Basically a much better version of Donkey Missile. Okay, I believe that's White Kahana, and there's Atomic Missile again. I might actually need to have Chloe S-Brain here. This is a downside of spamming S-Craft with everyone, is that it does delay your next turn quite a bit, so... He got a ton of turns in... Oh, he and his Photon Judge has got a ton of turns in against us. Yep, that's White Kahana, and not all of us are immune to Feint, too, so this could be bad if it gets Joshua or Chloe. Of course, it got Chloe, but at least Joshua's fine. Okay, how close is that one Photon Judge to dying? That is very, very close, actually. And I'm going beforehand, so let's aim White Kahana there. Okay, one Photon Judge down, one to go. I don't want to waste any time taking out that second Photon Judge. In fact, how many more ice cream? Yes, I got a lot of ice cream, that's good. Let's go ahead and do this. I want that Photon Judge to immediately die, so I'm going to do a double S break here. No reason to keep that Photon Judge alive now. I don't think this will do it. It's close, though.
Clever. Die with honor.
So, yeah, that is his S-Craft Afterglow Smasher. It does hit very, very hard, but it is only single targeting, unlike Lawrence's S-Craft. Now, I can get Earthwall in after he attacks. Oh, Luminous Divider. Okay, that's not quite the cool attack that he has. There's an attack that he has that I find really, really awesome looking, but I would say we'll hopefully see that later. It's a bit of a weird thing to say about a boss and one of their more dangerous moves, but it's really cool looking and I want to see it. Okay, I can get you both in Flicker. Unfortunately, Chloe is still stunned. No, she's not. Good, she snapped out of it just in time. However, Richard's going next. And I can't comfort. This is kind of weird, but I stocked up on ice cream for a reason. Die, Photon Judge, please. So, remember I was saying before that there was kind of a reason why Photon Judges were immune to almost all status ailments? It's because they're involved in the final boss fight. But I almost feel like that they act... Because these are clearly a different variant of Photon Judges, they even look different. So, they easily could have made the Monster Chest Photon Judges not immune to all status, and only made these ones immune to all status, but... Anyway, I digress. By the way, Richard is immune to Confuse, so they finally made a boss that's immune to Confusion. So yeah, actually Confusion is not going to be useful for the rest of the entire game. And probably for the rest of this series, because it got nerfed into the ground in the second game. And now that Richard's alone, I can afford to just spam Comfort on him. If you have people who can spam Earthwall, he's really not too bad. Especially if you debuff his defense. I suppose I can go for... You don't want to spam too much of your arts here. You always want to save a little bit of CP. Now, I get the feeling you're going to recover from that before you cast that. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on Chloe, just so she can debuff you again. Or I can actually cancel you. You're not getting an opportunity to do this, but I guess she'll relish the chance to poke him in the face, and he's going for it again, except I also have Sniper Shot. He'll probably go for it again, but still, it's fun to keep cancelling him. Now please use that attack, Luminous Overslash. He hasn't used, like, what is it? I think it's Luminous Wheel is the really cool looking one. I really want to show him using that, because it's a pretty awesome attack. Something I can mention as well is if you're listening closely to Richard's dialogue when he was using his S-Craft, yes, Colonel Richard is indeed voiced by David Vincent, aka Robin from Fire Emblem Awakening, the male version at least. And this leads me to say one thing. What is it with David Vincent and voicing blonde-haired, sword-using, morally ambiguous Bishonen characters? I guess Colonel Richard qualifies more as a Bisseinen, but technicalities. Because seriously, so even Robin kind of counts thanks to Grima, but he voiced another Richard in Tales of Graces, and Jin Kisaragi in Blaze Blue, and now Colonel Richard here. All of them, again, kind of anti-villains, blonde hair, short blonde hair even for most of them, except for the Richard from Tales of Graces, who use swords. It's just kind of a thing that he gets strangely typecast as. Come on, please use Luminous Wheel. I really want to show that before this fight ends. Okay, definitely getting down lower. And yep, again, there's David Gibson. Well, her shield certainly died with honor, but, yep, that's an Earth Wall. See, this is why Earth Wall's amazing. I haven't really used it to its fullest all game, but this thing is incredibly overpowered, and you'll see its true strength in the next two phases. Okay, so at this point, you might want to go ahead and heal, if at all possible. If anyone's running a little low on health, heal, restore EP if you need to. Could you please at least use Luminous Wheel? I really want to see that. It's a cool looking move. And never actually got to see Luminous Wheel. I can always show that in bonus footage. Basically, he summons like a buzzsaw of light out of his sword. It's really cool looking. And so Colonel Richard has been defeated. But as I hinted, this isn't over yet. That fight gave the Black Orbment time to activate. It's what happens when you're concerned with the boss fight and not concerned with, like, someone should have just gone and grabbed that thing, although I'm pretty sure it was already fully sealed in its place. The phenomenon extends even to here, wow. But what was he hoping to achieve by that? Well, the power sure came back quickly. Well, you know what's bad if this music's swelling back in? 4 towers. Green, red, brown, and blue. I wonder what that reminds me of. Yeah, you didn't know what would happen when you activated that thing. However you found out about this place, you were not told there was more than one security measure. And we're about to find out just what said Ring Guardians are. It always did look a little bit goofy when it was jumping like that, especially with its thing kind of looking like a weird face. But this is the Ring Guardian Reverie. That's not a face, that's a set of 4 cannons, and it hits you in a wide area. We also have these two things. So this fight is why you want to be bunched up and just spam Earth Walls. We have there the right forceps. Uses ancient magic, strong against arts attacks. The left forceps repairs if damaged, strong against physical attacks. And then we have Reverie itself, which has a little more HP than Colonel Richard did. And we don't really know much about Reverie, so this fight is all about using physical attacks on the right forceps and using magical attacks on the left forceps, so let's go. Let's actually just go for Flicker. Also, that's a nice reprise of the main theme there. This boss theme's pretty cool. And you're gonna go... Actually, at this point, I think I should just clock up EX everybody. Didn't need it for the previous fight, I definitely need it now. And it's a good thing this dungeon gave you so many EP charge EXs, because you're gonna be going through quite a lot of them in this fight. Okay, thankfully that attack's only single targeting. And you didn't get knocked out of range of the Earth Wall. Let's just continue to set up these clock up EXs. Action 3 plus Cast 2 is gonna serve us pretty well here. And as for Estelle, I think she can actually go ahead and use Morale. Basically, I want to chew through these things' HP as fast as possible. Strength up and speed up on everyone. Okay, let's go. I like to have Joshua spam Jewel Strike on the right forceps. Okay, more missiles. Okay, that attack 3 quarts on Joshua does mean that he has a bit low defense. Should I be healing now, or should I be focusing more on... I guess we can go for an Earth Lance on this one. We get quite a lot of turns thanks to Clock Up EX, that's good. Should I focus down one, or should I... I think I should focus down the one with the lower HP. Okay, we do have a crit turn coming up that we might need to steal. I doubt we're actually going to have enough, Yeah, I'll take the... Oh, of course, he got hit and knocked into 200 CP anyway, but oh well. Make sure you do not aim an S-Craft with the left forceps. Okay, that's taking a bit of damage. I need to heal now. Okay, can I get my arts in? Okay, good. And that's another good thing about being speed buffed. But given that I have the Gladiator belt, there's no reason not to use Joshua's S-Craft the instant that it's available, because he'll get his S-Craft again pretty quickly. First hit on the actual main body. And yep, completely immune to physical attacks. That blue one... Okay, let's see if I can take it out with some more Earth Lances. Still buffed. Gotta pay attention to our buffs here. Okay, going for arts, finally. And you're going for a heal. Now, I believe these can be cancelled. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they can be. I might actually be able to kill that thing, though, before it gets a chance to even use its healing. Almost down. Let's see, can I get an attack in? Soul Blur should finish it. Okay, both forceps are almost down. This is faster than it usually happens for me, but then again, I am not playing on Nightmare. And they explode pretty satisfyingly. Okay, we've got a crit turn coming up from the boss. But I can steal it, and I actually... That's a problem. Okay, can I actually sturm you? Okay, good, it does actually cancel. Okay, it's wasting its critical turn going for a charge up. So yeah, that, I believe, cannot be cancelled. I think I've tried before, yeah, cannot be cancelled. So, obviously, you want to just get out of the way of that area, or use Earth Wall. This is another reason why Earth Wall is amazing in this fight. There is a very good reason why I made sure that Olivier had that. And that thing's down. So, no more forceps. It's just the main body, and basically it's a big fat wall of HP to eat through. So, let's just say this is not the final phase of this fight. So, yeah. You don't want to go too crazy with your abilities here. You want to save them for later. Does seem to be a little bit vulnerable, like, in terms of, defenses. So yeah, that does a lot of damage if you're caught in it, but you have plenty of warning to get out of the way. Let's get you closer so I can keep buffing you with Estelle. I'm no longer Clock Up EX, but I think I can afford to deal with that. I think that's going to do more. So if you get too close to the main body, it will swat you away with its arms. It knocks you very far and it does quite a bit of damage. So I would definitely recommend staying far away and using arts at this point in the fight. Especially Earth Lance and Blue Impacts. And also Flicker's not bad. Let's use some damage without getting too close. I guess you'll get closer so I can buff you with Estelle. Oh, great, going for that again. We still have our Earth Guards, though. Morale. So I should mention, the good news is that if you fail a phase, you don't have to do all 3 phases from the very beginning. So if you fail now, you'll start at the beginning of this phase and not fighting Colonel Witchett again. This is good because the final phase is, well, you'll see. Yeah, I have lost at the final phase before, just before the very end, and it is painful. Okay, here comes the giant laser doing death. The belly laser. And Joshua still actually has his Earth Wall up. Also, get used to morale still buffing magic. I believe it doesn't do that starting with the 3rd game. I kind of want to show what it looks like when you get too close to this thing, but on the other hand, I don't really want to. So I can have Estelle be a willing volunteer. It does, like, keep this thing distracted from using its more dangerous attacks sometimes. But it's still generally not something that you want. So we'll see if it does it or if it goes for a missile attack again. No, it's going for the beam. And only Joshua has Earthguard up. But it still has time to get out of the way. Now, here's another reason why having speed buffs is useful. By the way, this thing's immune to delay. And that's that it gives you more time to get out of the way of this attack. It also gives you more time to cast Earth Wall before the attack goes off. I have a crit turn. I don't really want to spend any of my CP here. Basically, I really, really want Joshua to have as much CP as possible going into the last phase. Okay, here comes it again. Have we ever actually seen that in anyone? How close are you to being dead? Very close. Okay, so now's the time when I'm going to start using some ice cream, because we want to be fully healed before the next phase. The next and final phase, and I think we're fine on EP at this point. If anyone has low EP, you also want to make sure they're topped up. Guess I can spam another ice cream on Joshua. Your CP really, really matters.
We're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, Blue Impact only costing 10 with all of with the EP reduction is pretty nice. Probably rather do that. And this phase should be over in a second. Is that it? Yep, there it goes. However, the boss music is still playing. We're not done yet.